Grew up right here in the heartland, but I recently married Pat, and she's from Southern California. Grew up there, and in the 1960s, her mother had one of those hippie herb shops. So as soon as Pat and I were married, she began making us smoothies. And I've always really liked smoothies, but I haven't eaten them as a diabetic because I was concerned they would spike my blood sugar. But what I found is the way Pat makes them, they really don't. They really are good for me, and I can eat them just fine. And also, I've been working on a spice bread recipe because I like to eat good things just like everyone else. And I developed a spice bread recipe that does not spike my blood sugar. So we decided to write a book about it for diabetics. And in the process, we noticed that we use flax seeds in some of our recipes, so we decided to make this video about how flax is good for diabetics. Flax is an ancient plant that's grown all around the world, and it's harvested still today by people who make textiles and cordage and things like that. It's been used since ancient times to make things for people's use. Nowadays, it's hauled in and dried and used and made into textiles by machinery. It can be grown, however, right in your own garden, and makes a beautiful plant, and it is harvested just like grain of old times, where it's shocked and brought up to dry. And then you can render the seeds out and use the flax seeds then for your health and nutrition. So flax seeds are a rich source of omega-3, vitamin B1, manganese, copper, and dietary fiber, and they're also a good source of phosphorus, magnesium, and selenium. They can be brown or golden in color, and they do have a really wonderful flavor that adds a lot to your recipes. They're full of essential vitamins and minerals and nourishment, and they're good for not only your hair and your skin, but we see that they're good for diabetics also. So what I thought I'd do is include a clip here of the doctor telling us about how that works.
Drug companies are hoping to capitalize on the fact that the consumption of certain plants appears to lower the risk of diabetes by isolating the active components for use and sale as pharmacological agents. Though not as profitable, why not just eat the plants? One plant in particular that's now been tested is flax. We've known for 20 years that having ground flax seeds in your stomach can blunt the blood sugar spike from a meal, but it's never been tested in diabetics until now. An open-label study on the effect of flaxseed powder supplementation in the management of diabetes. A tablespoon of ground flax seeds every day for a month, and, compared to the control group, a significant drop in fasting blood sugars, triglycerides, and cholesterol, as well as the most important thing, a drop in A1C level. This was just after a month. Though if one's sugars are already well controlled, though there may be no additional benefit. No weight gain was reported in people adding a quarter cup of ground flax a day to their diets for 3 months. In fact, the flax group ended up with a slimmer waist than the flaxseed oil or control group. Even up to nearly a half cup a day, more than I'd recommend, still no significant weight gain, though this was only after a month. How does flax help control diabetes? Well, flaxseed consumption may improve insulin sensitivity in people with glucose intolerance. After 12 weeks of flax, there was a small but significant drop in insulin resistance, perhaps related to the drop in oxidant stress, given the antioxidant qualities of flaxseed phytonutrients. Now, this was a small, unblinded study. It's hard to come up with a convincing fake flaxseed placebo. So look, if this was some drug they were testing, I'd never prescribe it based on this one study, but it isn't a drug, it's just flax seeds. There's just good side effects. So even if this study was a fluke or fraud, flax seeds have other benefits. So even in the worst case scenario, I'd still end up benefiting my patients, not quite ready or able to reverse their diabetes completely with a completely plant-based diet.
So if you're diabetic or there's a diabetic in your life, be sure and grab a copy of our book. The link is in the description.